All right, folks, welcome back to BEG Wrestling. We are here this week. And once again, we're live back again, folks. And listen.
Your mom's laughing at me, Zach.
Because you're delayed. Yeah.
I'm delayed too.
Yeah, it's all right. That's the only part that matters. It's the very start of the show. But, folks, listen, we're here. We're going to break down the individual team rankings updates. There was a ton of upsets in this past week. We're going to break down the team duel rankings presented by Cornell Kevin over there. Cornell Kevin and Dad, welcome to the show. How you guys doing over there before we get started?
Doing good.
Dad, you're fired up?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
I'm glad you guys are fired up because
talk.
okay, you don't want to jinx it, but you could.
No, I'll say it. I'll say it. The pressure's on. I'm hired if I can pass a driver's test tomorrow. I'm back at trucking and back at a place that I really like. And, yeah, I just can't choke tomorrow. Just can't choke.
Make sure you... All right. Wow. You know, I was going to throw a Penn State shot, but I'll hold off already, folks. But listen, I'm glad you two are feeling well because, listen, you know, I'm running on fumes over here, but I am happy to announce, folks, that I did successfully complete my first week, 3 of the last 4 nights by myself. Kelly went back to work, 12-hour overnight shifts in the ER. I got 3 kids and a 2-month-old and 2 other kids, and we have all successfully survived, but hasn't been the best sleep. But, hey, let's get right into it, folks. Let's not waste any time. But before we get into rankings, I do want to announce that I'm happy, very happy to announce that USA Wrestling, it was voted on that women's wrestling today is in favor of adding it as the 91st championship sport, Division 1 championship sport, women's wrestling, okay? So we all thought this was coming. We knew it was coming. It's about time. I'm excited for it. It's the fastest growing sport in America. My only question to you two would be, before we move on, whose dynasty will last longer? Clarissa Chun's in Iowa as the women's coach, or Cale Sanderson's as the men's coach in Penn State? If you had to bet all your money on one of the two, what would it be right now?
Well,
Go
doesn't
ahead, Wayne.
Coach Chun have to get a dynasty first?
Well, she won a championship last year, and I don't know the
Just
prior
depends
years.
on how long. Depends on how long Kale wants to do it, I guess.
I said starting right now. Starting right now. But, hey, something to think about. But, all right, fellas, you want to dive right into it? Yeah, something to think about. But, hey, let's get right into it because there was upsets right and left. And, folks, after the initial segment, we'll open the phone lines for call-ins. So, link in the description. But, hey, let's talk about 125. Kevin is here. He's been up for 2 nights straight also over there, but he's been doing rankings, right? Kevin, let's talk about 125.
Yeah, so we had some big movement there with Vincent Robinson because he had, you know, obviously a big win over Spratley. And the only reason he was ranked as low as he was because he just hadn't been wrestling in a few weeks. But he does have 15 matches now. He's 14-1. The only match that he lost was his injury default. So huge win over Spratley, and it wasn't just by a point, you know. So I felt that he really deserved to be up there. I think we're going to find out a lot this weekend, you know, a lot tomorrow with, you know, Lilladal wrestling Caleb Smith, and there's just so many different matchups in the 30 duels tomorrow. So right now, Ramos is the top dog, though, for sure. He's not only 18-0, he's been extremely dominant. Richie Figs finally came back and wrestled a match. Should we all clap? Or?
Should we all clap? Hey! Wrestling. Let's go.
Yeah, so also, you know, you see Brett Unger in there instead of Greg Diakomahalis. Greg was ranked 8th. He's gone. He was 9-0, unfortunately out for the season. Yep. And Trevor Anderson is in there for UNI, for Northern Iowa. Let's see, any other...
We talked about UNI on the map, folks.
I think that's about it for as far as
Really, your biggest
switching
mover
guys
there,
around.
Vincent Robinson. Not enough to overtake
Yes.
Ramos. I agree with that. Ramos has looked the most dominant, but I think the biggest question mark here is Lillendahl. Lightning Luke Lillendahl. Where does he fit in here? 3, I agree with at this point, but I could see him. We've talked about it. Any comments over there, Penn State, Wayne?
No, I'm trying to find something I don't agree with. I know Lightning Luke he's going to show whether he deserves that third spot tomorrow night. But I agree with what Flo said in the sense that this isn't do or die or something. So let's say for some reason Smith knocks off Luke. To me, that doesn't end his he's a title contender opinion. I still have that. I would be a little shocked if Smith does knock off Luke, but I'm ready. I'm so ready.
You would be shocked? Okay, are you saying, do you expect Lillendahl to go undefeated? Like, he's going to lose, right? And 125 as a freshman in NCAA Division I wrestling, you're going to lose. Right?
We're talking about Luke Lillendahl. So,
okay.
I'm not, it's unlikely. I mean, usually a freshman takes a hit here or there, but.
What?
Well, at some point.
It's okay.
I think it's unreasonable to expect that he goes undefeated, but I think he's right there with those. You got high expectations over there, don't you? Wow, you always have. But hey, I agree with those. Anything else here on 125? Biggest mover Vincent Robinson this week.
I like seeing old Anthony Moulton there at 27. That's cool.
He's been hot lately. I mean, he's won I think like 7 or 8 in a row. He has some really. He would be higher, but he's got some really bad losses at the beginning of the season. But he's slowly overcoming those and moving on up like the Jeffersons,
Hey, he just keeps wrestling. You got to respect that. He keeps
moving
wrestling.
on up.
So, all right, talk about moving on. Let's talk about 133. We still have Crookham there at 1, Lucas Bird, Zach Romney, Ayala, Frost, and Knox. So I guess the biggest thing up this week is the Crookham injury. Any news or updates on that?
So it's kind of a cruddy situation. The main rule of thumb I have is like if a guy's been out 4 to 6 weeks, he's out of the rankings. There's several guys that you'll see out of the rankings this week. If they come back, they can go back in. However, with Crookham, it's tough because really, if he comes back, it's not going to be till conferences. So we really it's almost like you got to wait until conferences before removing him, unless we hear something else. But, it's same as we said on the other show. He's either going to get the medical hardship and it's going to be the 125 backup repos, or it's going to be possibly Stanich at 133, which would definitely be something to watch out for. Or he's not going to get the medical hardship and he's going to come back for conferences. So it's going to be, one of those 3 scenarios.
Yeah, well, can I say this? I think regardless, this time out with the injury, I think this weight class is entirely up for grabs. I think he might have had a leg up a little bit on maybe 2 through 10, but now I think with this injury downtime, he's not going to be at 100%, and I think this weight class is entirely up for grabs. Deb, you got anything here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it just with Crookham, there's no indication he won't get a medical shirt. He most likely absolutely will get a medical shirt. And as I said in a previous episode, it makes no sense to me to have such a long break right before all the action happens. You're just simply not at your best. It's hard to be at your best. I wouldn't know why he would even be wrestling. I understand why he's in the rankings. I understand he'll stay there for a couple weeks and he eventually drops out. But I personally would be shocked to see Crookham back this year. I don't care what Lehigh coaches might have said, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Just get med shirt out and come back fresh next year.
Okay, so
go ahead.
If we expect Crookham to medshirt here, I just talked about a lot of this one up in the air, and then we also have new faces up here. I mean, we just saw Cale Hughes this week. We got him in there at 11. Van D with a win. We got him in there at 15? And then you even have like Julian Farber there. UNI in there 17. So there's wrestlers making big moves in this weight class, which I consider to be wide open. So if Crookham's out, this could be one of the more intriguing weight classes we have.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I mean, Drake and Bird tomorrow wrestle each other, so that's going to be huge implications. Number 2 versus number 4. You got Anthony Hesher, Tyler Knox, who is given Zeth Rom. What's that?
Who wins that?
Tyler Knox. Oh,
no.
You know what? I'm going to go Drake. Because I think that what I've seen from him in the third period and his offense, I think, is going to be better than Bird's defense. But who do you think?
I'm taking
Drake. I'm kind of with Ayala too. That slick little slide by. He's going to get.
That's what I was thinking. Yep, he is slick with that, isn't he? But like what I was saying too is, though, Tyler Knox has given Romney his only loss. He's given Drake his only loss. But Knox has lost to Bazakis. Bazakis took a dip this week because he actually had 2 losses. He was whenever I start to think that Bazakis is just all of a sudden he's in, I'm like he passed that hurdle. He's doing great. He ends up taking some losses, surprisingly. So yeah, he had 2 losses this week. Also, I don't know. I heard Anthony Noto was going down, but he's still up at 133. So it makes you wonder if he's actually just staying up there. Dylan Schauber had a couple early season losses. Now he's been real hot. He's been on a huge winning streak. And then, Cale Hughes. I went with Cale Hughes. No inside information. I just think he's going to be their guy. After what, he's undefeated, and what he did the other night in that dual meet, how do you not go with him?
I agree. Dad, you said it as well. So that's it. That's 133. Let's move on. Let's talk about 141. Mendez still holds that top spot. Alirez, Bartlett, Jameson, Happel, Brock Hardy, Echemendia to round out your top 7 there. But, Kevin, who are your biggest movers this week?
So, looking at this, there wasn't as many movements as the other weight classes. We got, let's see, Vince Cornell is gone for the year. That's confirmed. Saunders is in there for him. Vambar took a loss, but it was to a higher seed. Really, the top 8 or 9 here are just kind of sticking right where they're at. Dylan Cedeno is kind of interesting. He's only 5-0. He doesn't have a lot of matches, but he's tough. I think he could possibly compete with the rest of them. And then looking down further, Julian Tagg at 33. He is not your 9-7 wrestler. He got a real slow start. I don't know what was going on, but he is going to be tough at the end there. So yeah, that's not a whole lot of movement, Zach. Not a whole lot of movement at all.
No, I would agree. I was going to say nothing stuck out to me. I do like Shannon Hanna in there. Shout out Campbell at 27. But, Dad, any 141 comments you got?
No, we're going to learn a lot this weekend.
Yes, we will, folks. Wrestle Madness this weekend, tomorrow, in fact. So you got 24 hours to log in and join the fun. But, hey, let's move on. 149, Caleb Henson, Shane Van Ness, Ridge Lovett, Parko, Ty Whalen, and so on there. But that's your top 5. Kevin, who are our movers this week?
Well, Cannon Webster, who I know we were all real high on, he actually took a couple losses, surprisingly. So he's actually gone down a little bit. Also taking a little bit of a dive was Colin Rebuto. Jordan Williams finally lost. Malik Haynes from Lehigh is back in, and he's looking really good, actually. So I can see him popping up a little bit more. But this week's got some interesting guys down near the bottom rankings. Like, you don't really see a lot of, Kent State, Cal Baptist, Citadel. I love seeing weights like this where you get schools like that you normally wouldn't see. You know, it makes things real interesting come March. But it's disappointing that Henson didn't wrestle McNeil in the dual meet, but I guess Henson's injured, and we got the big one tomorrow, which I'm sure Wayne wants to talk about. Van Ness and Lovett.
Yes, we do. Dad, you said it's a 50-50 match. You still feel like that right now?
No, I think Van Ness has a little edge there, but I mean, Lovett is Lovett. But I'm equally interested in this Kanan Webster. What does he do against Parko? Now, he had a rough week last week. We kind of find out what this kid's about, this match. Having a rough week, having 2 losses in a row, that can happen to the best of them out there. Does he respond and wrestle Parko extremely tough, take him out, beat him, whatever? Or does this losing streak continue? To me, that's going to tell us a lot about Webster.
Possibly
I think
Illinois.
That,
Go ahead, Kevin.
I think that this is a perfect example, you guys, where I think that taking a break sometimes doesn't help people. Webster was on a roll, right? And he had that really tough loss against Lachlan McNeil in sudden victory, which he could easily won. If you haven't seen that match, do yourself a favor and watch the end of it. It was crazy. But that was back in that was the beginning of that was the end of November, right? Then all of a sudden he doesn't wrestle again till January 10th, and he loses to Dylan Emilio 2-0. He looks very stale. And then a couple days later he loses to Sam Cartella from Northwestern 6-4. Looks equally as stale. I think he took 5 weeks off. I don't think that does well for some people. I know personally when I wrestled, I couldn't take a break off like that. So I don't know how these guys do it, but maybe he might come out and look like an old self. Maybe he just had to get the rust out a little bit. He's a much better wrestler than what he showed last week, that's for sure.
Kevin, are you trying to confirm my earlier point that I was trying to leverage about Crookham? If he was out in a considerable time, or maybe even the next weight class that we'll talk about with Teamer. But hey, we do have a comment by Dan Brunetti. Says Finn Solomon is going to make some noise at the NCAAs. So shout out Finn Solomon. Shout out Pittsburgh. We've been hearing some stuff out of Pittsburgh. We got him ranked at 28 there, but they did just sign the younger Bouzakis brother, stolen from Ohio State. So, okay, what's going on out there in Pittsburgh?
Glad to see that. I was
interesting.
Yeah, I was definitely glad to see that.
Anyone else on any final thoughts on 149?
No, I wonder if Wallen, how do you pronounce that, Kevin?
Whalen? Ty Whalen?
Well, wonder if he gets any tested this week at all.
I hope so, because I'll tell you what, man, that kid, he's tough as nails, but I'd love to see him against somebody that actually, we can measure him by, right? Because we haven't been able to.
We've been waiting a long time to get some questions answered. This weekend we finally will. But
because
the 11-0 freshman,
he hasn't wrestled anyone ranked above 29th. So I just don't know.
Be said about Lamer too.
Yeah,
Lamer
chance. He's actually had a better, tougher schedule than Whalen has had, but yeah, he's definitely hasn't. He's 10-0. He's the highest he's wrestled. He did beat Jaden Navas, who's been really good this year. So that's a good win for him, and he beat Jordan Williams, who's another decent win. Outside of that, he doesn't have anybody that's really good. So to be fair to him, he does have 2, top 10 wins, but not top 10 anymore. Williams isn't, but Whalen really doesn't have much of anything. So we'll see.
The freshman, we'll be interested to see. But hey, before we move on to 157, Kevin, we got a comment. Soldier Boy here says Lillendahl is yet to even face a top 15 guy, and we have him ranked 3rd. We're all some wild stuff.
All right.
We're wild.
Let me. This is my argument to that. Okay, people are like, oh, you know what? He's a freshman. You can't. Rankings are supposed to specifically be on this year, correct? They're not supposed to take anything into account. So why is Richie Figs ranked so high when he hasn't faced anybody? You know what I mean? He got an injury default to like this WrestleStat 68 guy. And also, I could say that for a couple other guys too. It's just like we treat the freshmen unfair. He's undefeated, and he has a win over the Seymour there. I know it's not the highest rank of win, but to be fair, he's undefeated, and yeah, we're gonna find out tomorrow, either or. If he loses, he goes down. But that's the true test. But yeah, I don't see
think
why.
it's his fault he hasn't wrestled anyone yet. And I would say it's a little finicky there at 125 because of the weight class, and especially as freshmen. I know other places don't rank freshmen, but dude, be honest. Dude, anyone who doesn't have Lindahl ranked really not think that kid's going to podium? Get out of here. Come on. You're ranking.
Yeah, he actually has beaten he's beaten 4 ranked guys. They're not really super high ranked, but he's beaten all 4 ranked guys. One of them he tech-falled. 2 of them, 2 ranked guys he tech-falled.
Right.
So,
All
right,
we got to move on to 157. Cole Young says that's because Lindahl wears a PSU singlet. If he went to Army, he'd be ranked 45th. Whoa, shots fired. All right, move on 157.
Who's this Cole
fired
Young
up.
guy?
These comments are waking me up, folks. Who cares I haven't slept in 2 nights? Let's go, baby. Hey, call-in's available soon. 157, Meyer Shapiro is back, folks, in a big way. Wow. Kazak's at second. Is it even close at this point, or is there a substantial difference there? Downey 3, Antrell Taylor. Didn't he have a big win this past week at 4? Cody Chittum. Wow. Cody Chittum at 5. That's surprising.
Yeah. Cody Chittum is quietly looking a lot better than he did last year. Since he's been back, he looks like a whole new guy. And he's someone he honestly he's a contender. He's got some okay wins so far. He took out Paddy Gallagher, and he also took out Wasilewski from Ryder, a couple other ranked wins, but he's been really dominating a lot of these guys. And just the eyeball test, he looks a lot better than he did last year. He's not doing he's not like last year he kind of flake out at the end of some of the matches. He's real inconsistent, but this year he looks much more consistent. Let's put it that way. And yes, Biggs is the returning champ, but rankings are for this year.
Yeah, we got some comments. Juan said they're more predictions. I guess that is kind of accurate. These kind of are more predictions, but they're kind of a blend of past and future. But Soldier Boy says he's just breaking balls with us. He loves our show for real.
Oh, I know.
So,
hey, I love you. Just for the record, we have to have people debate these, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Or what are we going to talk about? What are we going to sit here and snooze?
Yeah. No, but hey, Dad, you got any comments here on 157?
Yeah. Can't wait 24 hours from now. Kazak and Taylor, I'm telling you, it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war. And we're going to learn a lot right then.
Who are you picking? Who are you picking in that? Are you going to give us any spoilers? Many Wrestle Madness picks, maybe? I'll give you one Wrestle Madness pick.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll go back to Van Ness and Love It. I'm picking Van Ness by a major. Whoa! Are you serious?
Me too.
Oh, get out of here, Kevin, you little copycat.
Hey, no. Wayne, what did I tell you about 4 shows ago? Remember I said Van Ness is going to win by major, and you said, and I go, that made you happy, didn't I? And that was a couple weeks ago, Zach. You're the copycat.
Okay.
I got video evidence.
Maybe it was just instilled in my brain. But all right, final thought. Anything else on 157 before we move on 165? No. Okay, then we're moving on, folks. It's 165. It's Mitchell Messenbrink, the Hodge favorite. Michael Caliendo, Peyton Hall, Julian Ramirez, Bear Claw, even though that's not how you say his name. Didn't we recently found out? He was on. Apologize, Terrell.
I forget what it was.
and we all forget Cam Amin, shout out. He had a big win, Hunter Garvin, and then so on. But Kevin, who are our movers this week?
We got a lot of unbeatens up at the top. Peyton Hall has just looked so good this year, guys. I'm not ready to say that he can compete with Messenbrink, but Caliendo and Hall that's an interesting match for sure. Ramirez can never beat Hall. He's 0-3 against him. He will never beat him. He just can't do it. I've seen it 100 times. It's just like Ramirez and Hamidi. Some guys he doesn't match up against. People might say, why the heck is Hunter Garvin ranked 7th with 6 losses? It's because Hunter Garvin has wrestled all the top dudes, and he's extremely dangerous, and he has really good wins. We put Chris Minto in there from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because I believe he is going to be their starter. I believe that Bubba Wilson is injured right now, and I think that that's who they're going to go with. Scholes from Illinois slid down a lot with a loss, and Bo Montagna is in there instead of his brother Brock. Brock is going to continue his red shirt for Michigan. Bo lost to Noah Mulvaney from Bucknell, and I just kind of looking through, the top kind of stays the same. And now Ohio State, guys, I don't know what to do with Ohio State, to be honest with you. I'm just going to come out and say it. What are they doing at 57? I don't know. Sasso, Gallagher, 65. Are they going to put Burden in, or are they going to put Hepner in? I know that Karchler's staying at 74. So Hepner and Burden wrestled a wrestle-off, which we all got to see, and it was a double overtime tiebreaker. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
They're kind of going back and forth, maybe a little bit. Go ahead, Dad.
What's that?
Did Burden already use up his 5 dates? I would thought he was still able to possibly redshirt. Ethan Burden.
Who's that? Oh,
Ohio State's Ethan Burden.
I don't know. I don't know if he's used them up or not. That's a very good question, though.
9 and 5.
Right, I'm looking up at his wrestle stat right now, because sometimes if they enter tournaments, they can get a lot of matches that way. Ethan Burden, let's see here, yeah, here he is. Okay, so 9 and 5. So he was at Rutgers, Ohio State, Midlands, Pittsburgh, and Clarion Open. So if we see him one more time, he gets his red shirt pulled. He's used all 5 up. I just couldn't put Hepner in there, and I know that they're too good to not be in there, Ohio State, with both those guys. So I kind of flipped a coin on that one. Burden's been the last one to go out there, and I haven't seen Hepner in a long time. So that's kind of why I went with that. But if we don't see Burden next time out, then you got to assume that he's taking his red shirt. Good call, Wayne.
Look at him over there. All right, we still agree. What, Hunter Garvin's the only one that has a chance to beat Messenbrink? Isn't that what you said, Kevin?
Listen, it's a very, very small chance. But if someone came up to me and said, Messenbrink lost, I would think it must have been Hunter Garvin pulling some kind of funky move at the beginning, and he caught him in something. That's the only way. Outside of that, Messenbrink's way too good. He's, 10-0 with 10 techs? No, 9 techs and a forfeit? It's unbelievable.
Okay. Hey, listen, Jack McGee asked in the question, is the BEG League and Wrestle Madness different than the Open Tournament? It is. In fact, Kevin, can you make sure you post our league for tomorrow night in our Facebook chat? So, folks,
absolutely.
You can find these rankings at begwrestling.com. You can find us on Facebook, BEG Wrestling. Join the group. We'll post our group link to join our Wrestle Madness. And it's really nice on Wrestle Madness, man. You can just copy your picks from one league and move them on to the other, so you don't have to spend time making every single pick for every single league. But, yeah, go ahead and join it. Thanks for the comment. Folks, we're ready to move on, right? We're moving on to 174, you guys?
One more thing real quick I just wanted to say about Ohio State. Hepner has not wrestled since the beginning of November. And if you figure Sasso going down, they're not going to bring him back up 65, I wouldn't think. And I think he would be able to beat Gallagher. Who knows? But yeah, like you guys said, we're going to find out a lot this weekend.
Starting tomorrow. So, All right, moving on. 174, Keegan O'Toole. We're not sure how long he's out for. Levi Haynes, Dean Hamidi, who was in a fun little match this past weekend with, what's his name? Mike, where's he at? Anyway, Norman, Patrick Kennedy, or Dog of the Year there at 5. Man, how high can he go? My goodness. All right, what are the updates here, Kevin?
We do have Kennedy in there, and I think he's right where he should be. Carson Karchla has been looking real good. He just started wrestling. Nick and Contreras finally had a couple losses. And then you got Sergio Desciante, who won the Southern Scuffle, first Chattanooga guy ever to win that, and beat some dogs while doing it. Gavin Sachs, he took out. Not a whole lot of movement on here. It's a really interesting weight, though. It's very, very deep. But look who's going down. Lennox Wolak is 6-6 now. He keeps losing, man. I don't know how far he's gonna. He could find himself right off the board like T.J. Stewart did. But yeah, I'm just shocked that he just keeps losing. I don't understand it. If he's in some kind of funk or something, but yeah, he's lost. Let's see. I think he's lost like 1, 2, or let's see here. Well, he lost one. He ended up losing 5 in a row. Then he lost 3, and then he won 1.
Yeah,
lost 5. Yeah, so he's got a lot of losses and not a lot of good wins lately. So we'll see what's up with him. But he's a returning All-American.
Dad, what do you think? I think we have a top 5 tier here. I know everyone says it's O'Toole, Levi, and then a little bit under that's Hamidi. I think we have a new third tier. It's 4 or 5. It's Norman Kennedy. What are your thoughts?
I'm sitting here thinking about Nelson Brands, and just I'm totally intrigued by that. He comes back, and we don't know what's going to happen. I'd love to know how that goes in the practice room. Wouldn't you? How's Nelson Brands and Patrick Kennedy shake out in the practice room? See, the thing is yeah. I would – Nelson Brands may get the slight edge there. You get familiar with each other, and you can stop a guy's best move that works 90% of the time with everybody else. Of course, it makes sense to have Kennedy for his scoring potential, but
I think Kennedy has leveled up this year.
It's a tough call, guys.
Yeah.
Kennedy, I think Kennedy has made this a choice you just can't help but make. I mean, obviously, I think if it was 50-50, Nelson Brands would probably get that edge. But I think Kennedy has just set himself apart so much that it's such an obvious choice. It has to be Patrick Kennedy.
Who's gonna score you more points in the NCAAs? It's really as simple as that, but it's not, because I understand the relative thing. They're related and everything, so it's not an easy decision. But guys, who's going to score you more points at NCAAs? Are you going to go with Brands, who's going to beat these guys 2-1, 3-2? Or are you going to go with Patrick Kennedy, who's going out there to tech people? I think that.
What do you do as coach when you're watching them practice and say they go 50-50? One way, one day, one way the other day, and it's like that's an impossible situation. That coaches are going to find themselves in that position more and more. We've talked before about Penn State's going to have a 1 or 2 of them instances next year, and it's
absolutely
tough. But throwing in the fact that he's a son and a nephew, that's.
By the way,
and he was suspended last year.
It's a no-win situation for the Brands. Because if Nelson actually gets the better, everyone's already fallen in love with Patrick Kennedy. And it's like, either way, it's lose-lose, the way I see it for Brands. Unless – because say they stick with Patrick Kennedy. Daggone Dad, daggone Uncle, what are you doing to me? I tie with him in practice. What's going on? That's there for the rest of their life. I hate to get into the
No, it's true. He's got to know, though, right? He's got to know that he doesn't go out there and get any bonus points, right? Like if they sit down and talk to him, I know it's not going to be easy, but like, listen, you want to prove something, go out there and. But
well, you can make the case the last couple of times he wrestled, he did get tech falls. I don't know if he had any, maybe one his whole lifetime, and the last like two out of three that he wrestled, he actually got tech falls. So
that's a good point.
One I think we'll see him again, but when will we see him? And that'll be very interesting right there. Maybe they pick and choose on styles and thinking, you know what, I think Nelson might have a better chance here. I don't know.
I also heard he was banged up. They said he was banged up, but I keep hearing that about everybody. He's banged up. He's banged up. That's probably they're probably hoping that he's banged up. That'd be the better for the decision, right?
Make it an easier decision. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nelson Brands against Bronigal.
Okay.
By the way, when is that duel? Is that duel right after Penn State's Nebraska duel? All in Big Ten. Am I right there?
I don't know that exactly. They're both tomorrow, though.
And there's no time on that.
Don't they have a doubleheader. They have Penn State. Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe Iowa goes first, Penn State and Nebraska goes next. Either way, you're talking about one.
Find out right now.
Fun night.
Hey, can I say this, though?
Yeah.
Can I say this? After this past weekend or maybe this past 2 weeks, it wouldn't shock me if Patrick Kennedy upset Dean Hamidi in NCAAs. Is that crazy? That's not that crazy, right? And the other thing I wanted to ask you guys about, did you hear what Carter said about Nelson Brands and Tom Brands in his interview with Bo Nickel? Carter said, what did he say? Something about how hard Tom is raising Nelson Brands or something. And he said something about he was seeing white or something. I did not understand the slang.
He only beat Brands 2-1 when he wrestled him, though. That was actually a close match.
But he's taking shots at him about something, and I thought, okay, let's get the ball rolling here. Let's get Carter on for an interview. Let's go. But
Wayne's spot on, though, man. Wayne, what you said.
Zach, Bo laughing at it was what got me laughing. Bo starts cracking up laughing after what he said. I recommend anybody go watch it. He was talking about what do you call them? The two. I forget. I don't have it.
Talking about Tom and Terry. Yeah.
Yeah. They're over there running around like they're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good interview. Bo, Nickel, and Carter.
So Illinois and Iowa tomorrow at 7:00 on the Big Ten Network, and then Penn State, Nebraska at 9:00 on the Big Ten Network.
Perfect.
Eastern time.
Friday night fireworks, baby. But all right, final comment 74. We got to move on to 84. All right, there we go.
One real quick thing. Wayne is absolutely right. Nelson Brands did go out. The last 2 times, he's only had 4 matches. Last 2 times he went out and teched 2 people. So if they said, well, you got to go out there and do it, he went out and did it. So you're right, Wayne. You're right. Yeah. Who's going to,
Hey, before we move on to 84, Russell Madness says Flo just announced Seth Gross and Austin DeSanto also on that Spencer Ono card. And then we also found out, what is it, David Carr and who's David Carr?
The guy that teched Dake. The guy that teched Dake.
Yikes.
When was it? The last previous Olympics?
Yikes.
Am I right?
What's his name from Japan there?
Yeah.
Japan
I know
there?
the Japan guy, yeah.
Dake, I think you're wrong. The guy, well, maybe I'm wrong. I read it was the guy that teched Dake at the previous Olympics. You remember he got 3rd at the one Olympics? Or am I confusing that with the world
I don't know. It's a big dog, though, and that card is a big dog now.
Takatani, right?
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
What a good
card. And that's who Carr has. So, yeah, we're going to find out if Carr is still progressing.
That's February 26th.
Remember, everybody had
that is right.
Carr, back in over the summer, Carr beat Levi. Levi beat O'Toole. O'Toole beat Carr. Wasn't it one of them deals in the freestyle? And
in the world trials.
Boy, we got some tough matches on that card. Spencer got a tough match. David Carr got a tough match. Whew. We got to show up. We got to show up, America. Let's go.
It's going to be tough for against the Japan guys, I think it's going to be tough for us.
All right. Let's move on. We got to talk about 184 here. It's Carter, Parker, Dustin Plott, McAnally. We got to talk about him, right? Coming up in at 4. Dad, you were disappointed we didn't see him the other week, but we did just see him here this past week, and he looks good. The freshman. Kevin, what did we see in updates here?
Yeah, I mean he won. He had a huge 16 to 6 win over Allred, who was 11-1 at the time. Looking at this, there's not any movement up near the top, and really this weight class was the easiest weight class for me to rank. Really, there just wasn't a lot of movement. Wasn't really anybody going around. So
yeah, Parker had a dominant win over Berge there, so pretty much solidified his spot there at number 2. So, all right, not much to talk about. Let's move on. Let's not waste time. Let's go to 197 here.
I'd like to say we get a good look at Ed Ruth. Now, he had a big win last time out. Of course, he's going to have Gabe Arnold most likely tomorrow night, and we're going to find out about both, really.
Ooh.
But
that's an intriguing match. Gabe Arnold at 6, Ed Ruth at 22 there, folks.
Yeah, Ed Ruth is coming on, though.
Yeah, he obviously has the skills to knock off like a Gabe Arnold, but he's just inconsistent. But we're going to learn more. Maybe he's got the eye of the tiger back here.
I think you're right, man, because he was 2-2 to start the season, but he's won 6 of his last 7.
Yeah.
He beat Fishback, he beat Rogatsky. He's got some good wins, so.
All right. Okay. What were you just talking about? What weight class? Ed Ruth? We moving on?
Yeah.
97. Yeah. All right, 97. Steve Buchanan, Cardenas, Josh Barr, AJ Ferrari. Wow, AJ fell a spot. And Server, Stephen Little, Michael Beard, and Salazar. Salazar had a bad loss, didn't he? Kevin, tell us the updates.
So Ferrari's down a spot. Basically, he almost lost to a guy that's got a sub 500 record. That's what that is. You're nitpicking up at the top here. Plus Ferrari, he hasn't wrestled anybody yet. He missed CKLV, and we like to try and think we reward guys for wrestling on here. And, so Barr has his win over Little, and he's got a win over Beard. He's got a win over 6, win over 7. You look at Ferrari, he's got nothing on here. Did he win a national title? Yes. Was it 4 years ago? Yes. I'm not saying that he can't win another one. He's beat Buchanan twice, but again, that was 4 years ago. So we'll see what happens. But I did notice that Trey Munoz I remember, guys, I told you about all these guys that haven't wrestled in over a month, and there's a big list of them. Trey Munoz is one of them. I was shocked to see that he actually has not wrestled since December 6th. So about 6 weeks ago was the last time Trey Munoz wrestled. No idea why. Nobody's said anything. Nobody's talking about it. Cliff Keen was the last time we saw Trey Munoz, was at Cliff Keen. So yeah, it's interesting. Ohio State, they got Shoemate up here and they put Rogatsky down to 84. But yeah, what do you think, Wayne? What?
I had a guy that I kind of respect his decision or his opinions a little bit, and he watched and he says, AJ looks like he's wrestling in mud. Of course, what he meant is he looks slow. And I'm kind of mentioned that too. And, that's going to be a tricky little thing in our fantasy. I'm going to end up with AJ because I got picks 9 and 12. And, I mean, you got to think the man could win this. I mean, he's got 2 wins over Buchanan before. There's no doubt he can beat it. The real wild card, we don't know how good he is Josh Barr. He may put a nick to this whole thing, but hard to gauge. It's hard. when you're just watching a match, it's kind of hard to gauge. Was that really slow, or was that? It's just that's tough. But that was my take too. I thought, dang on, where's the explosion out there? There's nothing like watching a wrestler where he's out there wrestling and and it's like he's got that boom explosion that catches you by surprise. Now that's the kind of wrestler I like. Now, unlike everything, it gets a little laid back. We're talking, and every once in a while, someone's got to pick up their voice or something. I need some explosion once in a while, or I start falling asleep here.
I agree.
So
I'll tell you
that's
what,
man. That's what I'm counting on from AJ. Somewhere along the line, he reaches down inside, gets that explosion. He probably is going to need to win this because you can't say he looks like he's head and heels above the rest of the field or something like that.
No. The thing with him is the thing that made him so scary was the inability for other people to take him down. We just hadn't seen it in so long. And then all of a sudden, this past weekend, boom, duck under, down. When I saw that, my whole outlook kind of changed on him. I was like, whoa. And listen, and it can happen to anybody, but it was so people didn't really have a blueprint to take AJ down. And that's what made him so effective. Maybe it was just a lack of, whatever, he got taken down, or maybe there's a little something there.
Yeah, the other effective thing is his strength. He reminds me of Levi a little bit. If he gets his hands locked, he could be even outstretched a little bit. He's got the power to pull that in. And I like he kind of gets it going to one direction or another and he puts a guy on his hip. No doubt he's going to be a factor this year.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like Sway says on there, the guy that he almost lost to was a JUCO guy, right?
Yeah,
like he's got the comments there.
A lot of people don't like Ferrari, and I personally, I'm at the point where I like the fact that he brings attention. I do like that, but the old saying, Zach has said it many times, sports needs a bad guy. It does. It really needs a bad guy. We used to have the Raiders, and everybody loved. This is way back in my day when you guys weren't even born yet.
The Raiders.
Yeah, they were nasty, and you just couldn't wait to root against them. And but this whole thing with AJ, we're going to find out. I'm disappointed. He's 9-0. And he's not wrestled anyone of substance right now. That was hard. I didn't mean to say it that way. Anyone ranked anywhere near the top. I don't know what the highest ranked win he's got. Do you got that, Kevin?
Yeah, I can tell you in 1 second. No, it's definitely not.
I agree. There needs to be a bad guy. I don't know if you guys heard. Apparently, I might be the bad guy among the Penn State fans here recently. Some of the posts, but can I make a prediction that if Josh Barr and AJ wrestled, AJ would pin him? How do you like that, Penn State?
Here we go. You just can't help yourself, Zach. Zach, you just can't help yourself, man. It's so funny.
There's a group of people that they're disappointed that we don't appear to be a Penn State site anymore. Well, there's a Penn State fan here, so you're going to be hearing from pro Penn State once in a while. I can guarantee you that. But Penn State site, no, we're not. No, we're not. But
we're even, Steven. We have no favorites over here.
The answer to your question is AJ's best win was over Nick Stemmet, who is ranked 22nd, but he's got 8 losses, And he only beat him 5-0, and Buchanan tech-falled Stemmet pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's his best win right now. His only ranked win.
I want to kick 285 off by saying something right now. The last podcast, I was joking around a little bit about, hey, look, Gable Stevenson's got a little bit of a gut there. And by the way, it did grow a little bit, but I rewatched some tape since that recording that podcast. Yeah, he don't look too fat.
No.
He's obviously bigger. Yeah, I think he was sucking in his gut. It was at the beginning of the match. The shot I seen when the gut seemed to be sticking. Whoa, what's that? It was like a little bounce to it.
Yeah, beer gut, man.
That was at the end of the match, I think. But then I seen just today, I watched some footage, and it was at the beginning. He was waiting for the other guy to come out. And, before I got fat, I had a period of how many years there where I could suck my gut in, and people really didn't know I was fat. Okay. And now you walk around and you got sucked in there a little bit.
Yeah, man. Some people,
it's uncomfortable, but you can look
some people,
good.
yeah.
Keep it tight. Keep it tight. So I don't know. I'm officially on record now. Gable Stevenson's not fat. But how about what Zach said? Bo and somebody else said, yes, we believe Kirk Levitt can actually knock Stevenson off. Boom! Zach?
Yeah.
Kevin, go ahead. Kevin's been waiting for.
Well, sometimes some people have the six-pack, some people have the keg. All right? As you get older, that six-pack turns into a keg. And Gable put on some football weight, guys. He put on some football weight, and I think it makes him more dangerous. Greg, if somebody lights a fire under Kirk Fleet's ass, there's no saying what he can do. If he got fired up, he is a big dude. He could be scary. He's just so mellow, though. He's so mellow, man. If he went under there, if someone really pissed him off, hell yeah, I'd give him a shot at Gable.
I don't know. I gotta agree with Cole Young here. He says you don't see many skinny grizzly bears, and Gable is a grizzly bear. I would classify him as that.
But Zach, who said that? And it was Bo Nickel and somebody else. It was a big name that said they genuinely believe.
Caesar was it?
Who?
The guy that beat Gable twice. Anthony Cassar. Caesar.
No, it was
Little Caesar.
I guess you guys
Little
don't remember. Little Caesar.
Was it in that interview? The interview with
Carter? No.
No,
yeah, because it was just Cassar.
He's the one forgetting. Zach's the one forgetting. He's the one that mentioned it, and I thought, "Whoa, really?" Because
I trying to do the Jedi.
You know what I'm saying? I'm taking all kinds of heat from the guys in our little fantasy group because I made a little wager that someone gets within 4 points of Stevenson. And probably all 9 other guys just immediately started laughing at me. Well, I'm counting on somebody. Hendrickson, Kirk Levitt, somebody come to my defense, or better yet, even knock them off. But
the thing I'll say is, yes, he does. Gable looks bigger, but boy, he looks faster too, doesn't he? Am I crazy?
I think that this might sound crazy, but like it could have done him some good. Like you go into a football, you get out of your comfort zone, right? And you go into an NFL training camp, and that's out of your comfort zone. And you're working on different things, and it kind of sometimes it has an effect on people where he comes back to wrestling, and his confidence is just up because he's so comfortable and he was out of his comfort zone. And to me, that's what it looks like, where he's in his comfort zone. I think he's going to probably smoke everybody. We'll see.
Here's what's needs to happen. His confidence obviously is flying high. I mean, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He's off doing these other things that I got to give him credit. I mean, it took some balls to go give it a try. So now he comes back to what he consider. I'm back to play with the kids. Well, obviously his confidence is sky high. So he is wrestling the best he could be right now. My case is if someone can put together an effective first period, even if it's 0-0 and I didn't get called for stalling, let's slow it down a little bit because he's so slick. Let's get him huffing and puffing a little bit. And then maybe by the third period, let's get some of that confidence inside start to drop a little bit because I kept it close and get a little desperation brewing up in there. I'm just saying,
Didn't
the man's a
didn't
human.
Ty didn't
I was gonna
Tay
say
do that
Tate.
though? Tay was like it was like 3-0, I think, and then all of a sudden it was a tech fall.
But we could see some
I think it was
adjustments made at Tay there at 5. I was going to say we got Wyatt at 3. He just beat Trumbull there at 4, but almost in an unimpressive way, I would say. So I would say maybe not high hopes for Wyatt or Trumbull there. Feldman with that last-second takedown to secure the victory this past week. But is Gadiali outside of Kirk? Is it Gadiali with arguably the best chance, I would say, to knock off Gable? And that's not a big one.
no, it's not much of a chance.
Yeah, well, I think Gaudiali will close the gap big time, but yeah, I think it's either Kirklevied or Hendrickson that would give him. I don't know if Trumbull. I love how quick he is and all that stuff, but mostly the first two. But I'll tell you the 285 match. It's got me intrigued. I can't wait to see how this goes down. Is I want to see Luffman against Keeter, because I'm still a question mark with Keeter. How is Keeter
Yeah,
good?
me too.
So like I know Keeter should win that, right? Going away, although Luffman's tough, he's 10-2. But
You got him 9 and 10. That's neck and neck.
Got,
I think I'm picking Luffman in that, honestly.
Luffman's lost to Owen Treppen, and he lost to Nick Feldman, which Owen Treppen, by the way, he could quietly go into nationals undefeated because he's on that EIWA schedule now at Lehigh, and he's 12-0 right now. And also Heinzelman, who this is kind of funny. I was looking at this, guys. Michigan, you know how Michigan's struggling right now, and we hate to see that because our guy Bermet there, who was so gracious to come on and interview us, he's an awesome guy. But
big Bermet fan.
Can you imagine if Michigan didn't get the 2 transfers at 97 and 285? They got 2 undefeated guys at those weights, and outside of that, man, they are hurting. Go up and down their lineup, but then they got Cardenas at 197, and then they got Heinzelman from Oklahoma, who's 13-0 right now, quietly at 285.
Well, how many of these wrestlers are David Taylor is he stealing? And how many going forward? I don't know. He was at Bo's high school match. I know Bo retweeted our short from last week that we put out. So Bo Bassett's out there listening to us. Daddy was listening to you telling him to go to like UPJ or something. Where were you telling him to go? Pitt Johnstown or something.
His hometown.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Maybe he's thinking about that. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, let me say about this Iowa-Illinois match is, okay, it's a small, very small chance. But we heard that Angelo's weighing in also. Okay, what would it take for Tom to have to bust out Angelo? Illinois would have to maybe pull off an upset and get Tom in a illogical panic mode till 184 rolls around before only chance we would see Ferrari Angelo.
He's got what, 2 left? 2 left, does he have? Or
he has 2 left, yeah. And by the way, Arnold needs to get some matches in, right?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
If the plan truly is so, just for the sake of seeing Tom put in a tight spot, I would absolutely love everything to go Illinois' way. Them get the win. Bird beats Ayala. I mean, and this could happen, right? It's not. Nah.
No,
there's a lot of fun matches in that one, as opposed to maybe Penn State, Nebraska.
Win 41. Yeah, they could win the first 3 matches. And then if they get 57, they got 4 out of 5 matches won. And it's just they almost need an upset somewhere in there before I think Tom would panic and actually get Angelo out, because Ed Ruth can be scary. It's kind of scary. No matter whatever you think about Gabe Arnold, he is explosive. And I love that in a wrestler. But, I mean, Edmund Ruth is well trained by more than just coach.
The thing that kills Illinois is usually if you're going to compete with Iowa, you're going to make up some ground at 125. And that's a weight that Illinois cannot make up any ground on because they're in the same predicament, even worse off than Illinois. But we also got to remember that Cannon Webster, I believe he beat Parco last year, didn't he? Or am I thinking of Ty Whalen? I think that was Ty Whalen. Yeah, Ty Whalen. I don't know if Parco and Webster have ever wrestled, but you don't know. You never know about that match, and you know that Teamer's not going to be in there. And can Scholes beat Caliendo? Maybe a week ago I would have said maybe. Now I'm looking and I'm going, I don't know about that. But you're right, Wayne. There can definitely be some interesting matchups here where all of a sudden, now we're just assuming that Angelo is a better bet than Gabe, right? That's another thing.
With all the information provided, I think that's a logical conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Zach. But technically, we have no actual data.
Right.
Still,
we even asked Angelo to his face. He wouldn't tell us. But, hey, that's happening tomorrow. Penn State, Nebraska's happening tomorrow. Dad, are there any matches in that duel that Nebraska could win?
Oh, I'm telling you. If everything went right, that is just going to be fun. If things go their way, Smith beats Lillendahl.
That's a fun one. Love it, Ben. That's a fun one.
Vandy and Davis and Brock Hardy's beaten Bartlett before.
Yeah, and
okay, I take it back. Wow. Okay.
And Strautel and Kazak.
Yeah, you love it. Love it against Van Ness. We're going to find out. You talk about that may be one of the matches of the year coming tomorrow night, and I really am anxious. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be just pumped, happy. First off, I got the job nailed down. This is assuming I pass the road test tomorrow. Boom, wrestling time, and we're going to find out. I'm so pumped. If you look at this dual meet, it's kind of interesting for Nebraska I'm not saying Nebraska has any chance here, but Nebraska, once they hit 165, they're screwed. Okay, because they're going to have Messenbrink, Levi Haynes, Carter, Josh Barr, and Kirk Fleet, and none of the Nebraska guys are going to win those matches. Okay, but then leading up to that, they had Smith over Lillendahl, they had Van D over Davis, Brock over Bartlett. Lovett and Shane Van Ness, and then Antron Taylor and Kasak. They could make things a little interesting. They would have to have everything go right, though. And that's what's tough about Penn State is you get everything to go right, and then you hit that murder's row starting with Mestenbrink. And it's tough.
It'll be fun. Folks, it's tomorrow night. Kevin, the only slide I got left, I don't know, you want to touch on your team rankings at all? Or I got the upcoming duels up on the screen. So let's close out with your team rankings. Final comments here.
Yeah, so we're going to add on to these team rankings and what the categories that I have added on to these. And Wayne, I did go ahead and put them, upload them so you can actually see them too. What I have on there is I'm going to add you got the conference and their record. Obviously, I'm going to add on there who they've lost to. And it's funny because I saw someone in the comments say George Mason sneaky good. I actually had them ranked at one point until I saw that because they're 10-3, but I saw they had a couple of real bad losses. But we're going to go to 30, and I'm also going to have on there, we got in there how many top 8 guys they have, how many top 10 guys they have, so how many podium guys, how many top 10, and then their bonus percentage as a team I'm going to put on there, and their match record. So like Penn State's match record is 67-3. So you're going to get a real good breakdown of every team. You're going to know everything you could possibly know about them. I would say, I'm not going to say tomorrow, I'd probably say Saturday. Those will be updated with those on there. Right now, it's just got the dual rankings on there. They're up to 30 that are posted. And so we're trying to break it down better than anyone else because everyone's kind of lacking on dual rankings lately, I've noticed.
Kevin,
so we're going to try and put a good one together.
That's good stuff, man. And you added color. this week to the individual. I love that. But, hey, I got a couple comments here. We have Oklahoma State at 2. Love that. Iowa 3. Is anyone else out there? Have you seen anyone else out there with that?
No, and I mean, part of that has to do with Teamer isn't in there. Teamer's not in our rankings anymore. Now, don't ask me what I would do if he was in there. I don't know. I really don't know.
But he's not. So
he's not, though. He's not. So to me, it wasn't really that difficult of a decision. And I think Northern Iowa has more than proven themselves.
I was just going to say, shout out Northern Iowa. They're up to number 4 ranked, folks. And, I would say maybe right after them is a surprising team in your top 10 thus far this year, Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of figured, okay, they got Gable, so that's definitely some big points because generally speaking, that's 5 or 16 points right off the bat, no matter who they face, just about. But then I think we kind of got surprised on how deep their lineup was. The one thing I will say is, I mean, look at how many top 8 guys they got. 6 top 8 guys. That's the fourth
stacked.
most out of any team there. Yeah. So I will say, and I also want to say, tomorrow is such a good day for wrestling, guys. 30 dual meets. All right, 30 D1 dual meets, and you looking up and down. There's so many good matches, man. I mean, even like Pittsburgh Bucknell, he's got some interesting matches. Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Maryland.
Flo needs to do, Kev? Flo needs to have a red zone for nights like this.
That'd be
Flo
awesome.
needs to have a red zone where all the bigger matchups, the higher ranked matchups,
I would love that.
They go and pluck
But you
them.
go back and forth. Oh,
you can't do that because ESPN owns the rights over here, and BTN owns the rights over here, and it's like one of them things.
Can you imagine?
I don't want to go down that street of complain land, but one of them things that wrestling shooting themselves in the foot. How cool would that be to have a red zone for Friday night?
That's brilliant, man. Going back and forth. I mean, plus you got Northern Iowa and Arizona State, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Michigan, Northwestern, North Dakota State, Northern Colorado, Utah Valley, Missouri, NC State, Virginia, Indiana, Purdue. You can go up and down. It's just boom. But Wayne, that's a genius idea. That would be so sick. Okay, we're going to take it over to this. When you got like a dud match, you take it off and you throw it on the good match.
Yeah. And sometimes there's 2 good matches at a time. Boom, split screen. Oh, it's really loaded tonight. We got 4 great matches all at the same time. Boom, 4 match screen. It's like just like Red Zone, but
Gonna have to bootleg it.
Wrestle Madness. Let's go Wrestle Madness. Hey, you know what's funny? I was reading about an app. There's an AI app that writes code. I wrote it down. I haven't looked into it. Maybe I can have this app create that. Boom! BGWrestling.com.
Boom.
Hey, technology's moving fast, folks. I don't know. I don't have anything else. So I'm going to get some sleep tonight, folks, and I'm super excited. I'm putting earplugs in my ears, and I'm telling Kelly, don't even think about waking me up. I'm sleeping all night with earplugs, folks. Let's go. I'm fresh tomorrow.
Get up and take care of that baby.
I did. 3 out of the last 4 nights. And he's alive, baby. He's alive. Let's go. All right, folks. That's all we got, dude. So until next time, like and subscribe. Daggone it. We were supposed to do that at the start. Remember? We talked about this in our meeting. Unbelievable.
And listen, you're not when you subscribe, you're not paying for anything. You're just
free.
hitting the button.
Just
See
hit the
right here
button.
behind me? You got to slap that like button, slap that subscribe, slap that notification. Bam, bam, bam.
It only took us an hour and 9 minutes to remember that. All right, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, folks. Watch wrestling tomorrow. This is BG Wrestling. Thanks for watching.
See ya. Bye.
Thank you.